I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not.
This is The Room, a movie widely considered the worst movie ever made. But somehow this disaster became one of the most unforgettable movies in history. So I went down a rabbit hole to find out what secret this movie is hiding. And what I discovered explains why this disaster became a cult classic. Because behind the terrible acting, confusing story, and bizarre production, there's a story that's even crazier than the movie itself. A mysterious filmmaker spent millions chasing his dream, only to create one of the biggest failures in movie history. But somehow, that failure became a phenomenon. This is the hidden story behind The Room. When people talk about the worst movie ever made, there are a lot of names that come up. But there's one movie that has earned a reputation unlike almost anything else. The Room is a movie filled with confusing decisions, strange dialogue, and performances that feel like they came from another planet. The story follows Johnny, a successful banker whose life starts falling apart when he discovers the people closest to him have betrayed him. On paper, that sounds like a serious drama. But when you actually watch it, something feels completely different. The emotion don't land the way they should. The dialogue doesn't sound natural. And somehow, every scene becomes more unbelievable than the last. But here's where things get interesting. Most bad movies disappear. People watch them once, forget them, and move on. But The Room did something almost impossible. It became a cultural phenomenon. People started hosting screenings where fans would throw plastic spoons at the screen, repeat the famous lines, and celebrate every strange moment. So the question isn't just, why is this movie bad? The real question should be, how did something this flawed become something people couldn't stop talking about? Well, to understand that, The Room, you have to understand the person behind it, Tommy Wiseau. Tommy wasn't trying to make a joke. He wasn't trying to create a bad movie. He genuinely believed he was making something special. He wrote it, produced it, directed it, and starred as lead actor. This was his dream project, and that might be the biggest secret behind The Room. The reason The Room survived wasn't because it was perfect. It survived because it was completely honest. Every strange choice, every awkward moment, every impossible line came from someone who was completely committed to making his vision real. And that's something interesting from an acting perspective. As an actor, the weird thing about The Room is that there are actually lessons hidden inside the mistakes. Yes, you heard me right. Lessons. The biggest lesson is commitment matters. A performance can fail because the choices don't work, but the audience can still feel when someone fully believes in what they're doing. For example, the best actors don't just say the words, they believe the circumstances. Tommy believed every single moment of this story, even when the audience saw something completely different. But even after understanding and acting behind The Room, there is still one question that doesn't make sense. How did a movie that was expected to fail end up becoming something people still celebrate decades later? Because usually when a movie is considered terrible, that's where the story ends. People forget it, it disappears, nobody talks about it again. But The Room didn't disappear, it found an audience. People started showing up to midnight screenings, quoting every line, throwing plastic spoons at the screen, and turning a disaster into an experience. And that's when I realized the secret behind The Room wasn't about making the perfect movie. It was about creating something nobody else could create. The reason The Room became legendary wasn't because people discovered it was secretly good. They discovered it was completely unique. Every mistake, every strange choice, and every impossible moment made it something that could never be replicated. The worst movie ever became one of the most memorable movies ever because it was truly one of a kind. And that's what makes The Room so fascinating. It's not just a bad movie. It's a reminder that sometimes the most memorable art comes from people who are willing to put everything into their vision. But now I'm curious, what movie do you think is the worst movie ever made? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more deep dives into movie performances and the stories behind the characters we remember, subscribe, because that's exactly what we're doing here. And if you want to see another video where I break down what makes an unforgettable performance, try this video right here, or wherever.